Now, this is the footage taking of the Nicole Good shooting prior to everything happening. What we can see here is ICE agents walking up and down this block, and you can see them. We don't know who they're interacting with. We don't know what they're doing. You actually see this Jeep vehicle, right, pull up and then just start reversing. I don't know if an ICE agent's in that vehicle, but the agents don't seem to be too concerned about that vehicle breaking the law or impeding them in that moment. In fact, they're still continuing to walk around. As you can see, Ms. Good's vehicle is already perpendicular, and no agents are attempting to approach it at the moment. No one's concerned about her impeding at the moment. And then we see that the camera shoots back. You see, look, that agent is just walking calmly. All these agents are just walking around, looking at cars. They're not doing anything, and Ms. Good is clearly impeding in this moment. So what I think happens is someone says, oh, maybe we should go talk to that woman. And then Agent Ross, whose vehicle you can see, oh, by the way, I'd like to know, you can see many other cars easily driving by here. That was Agent Ross's vehicle, I believe. He's pulling around Miss Good. Not that one. Still, they're just there, standing, doing nothing. No one's that concerned about Miss Good being in the middle of the road, it appears. You know, if her impeding was such a hazard that they had to go after her the way they did, you would have thought there would be more urgency for it. And now we see, this is where we're going to see Agent Ross. Oh no, maybe not yet. See, no one is even close to Miss Good's car. They're all aware that she's there. But they clearly do not care at this moment that she's impeding them. You know, for this woman to have lost her life, and because the officers were trying to do their job, it's very clear they don't care about doing their job here. That's Agent Ross's vehicle, the one that's going around the back of Miss Good's vehicle right now. So now this is where it's important, because if he was concerned about her impeding, instead of getting out of his car like he does and recording video on his cell phone, he could just make contact with Miss Good in this very moment. But he chooses not to. He takes out his cell phone and starts recording. If he was so concerned about her impeding, he would have asked her to move at this point. But he doesn't do that. He just records on his cell phone. Now watch as Miss Good look, there he is walking around the car, not making contact with her. Look at Miss Good let all these other cars through. Look, one, here comes another one. She's going to let this car through. She's waving it through. And then here's the guy that jumps out of the car. Look, she's waving him through. She's waving him through. And look, lawful orders, they're yelling conflicting orders and trying to yank her out of her car now. Unfortunately, the video cuts out right there. So it doesn't get the rest of what happened. But you can clearly see they had so much time to do proper procedure as law enforcement officers, especially Agent Ross. Again, if you haven't watched my other videos, Agent Ross is a 10-year veteran of ICE. He is also an Iraq war vet. He is also a firearms instructor. He was also a member of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. He was also a member of SWAT. This man knows procedure. So for him to get out and just start recording on his cell phone instead of following proper procedure, this is the exact reason that this is his fault. He wasn't doing his job. Nobody there was doing their job, giving lawful orders. The only thing that happened was someone ran out of their car and tried to yank her out of her car while yelling, "Get out of your car," while someone else was yelling, "Get out of here," like conflicting orders. None of what you saw in the video I just showed you was professional law enforcement on any level. They are the ones who need to be held to a higher standard, not showing up and instead of making contact with Ms. Good, recording on his cell phone. If he was concerned enough with her impeding, he would have tried to stop her from impeding, not record on his cell phone. Or one of the other dozens of agents who we saw clearly were down the block would have walked up to her or drove up to her and asked her not to impede. But no, they decided to escalate and not be professional. If you're still defending this, you're an asshole.